All right, welcome to Escaping the Ordinary. This year has been anything but ordinary, so it's kind of redundant for this, but hopefully you'll find some ways to escape even more, or escape what's become our ordinary, which is a lot of virtual work, a lot of distance work where we can't do some of our small group activities, things like that. So it would help if I would use my actual computer. All right, I'm going to be sharing my PowerPoint. So as we go through, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to share. First, we're escaping the ordinary, live and virtual escape rooms. So we're going to do a brief welcome, which will include reviewing the polls. What is an escape room? How to use escape rooms in OST, and as well as benefits of escape rooms.
It's going to be free, or I can.
11:45.
11:45.
Yeah, this is the meeting that I had to.
Okay, now we have more people waiting. Okay. So the polls are, you know what, Catherine, I'm going to switch you to the host, okay?
Okay.
It's not allowing me to share. Okay, can everybody see the PowerPoint?
Yes, we can see your PowerPoint, Pat.
Okay, great.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's get it going here. Sorry, guys. So first question in the poll is, have you ever completed an escape room?
No, ma'am.
No? Let's go ahead and see about doing.
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I
Virtual?
haven't.
No?
No, ma'am.
Virtual? No? Okay.
No.
So a mix of yeses and nos in the
Mixes
chat,
of
and some
yeses and
people
nos.
are
Okay.
indicating
You did
last
they've
year and
done several.
And we did one at the QIS meeting in the fall of 2019, I believe it was, correct?
Yeah, I remember that one.
You guys did an awesome job on that. It was hard. Okay. Sorry, guys. Okay, now, did you learn anything during it? During your escape room experience? And have you ever used an escape room with your students in your program?
Alicia said she learned how smart her staff is. Julie said she learned to work together as a team to accomplish a goal. And Gwen says, yes, I learned that I get frustrated with people.
That's a very simple thing to learn on those. You can get very frustrated. That was one of my experiences on my first one. I went in a room with a lot of 20-somethings and a teenager, and they all just kind of dived and grabbed things. So that can be very frustrating when they start jumping in and not really looking at what they're doing. Have you ever used an escape room or escape the room activity with your youth?
Nope.
Okay. Yes, no? Okay, so we've got a lot of mixed answers. So we're going to go ahead and go on. What is an escape room? So they're also known as escape games or a game in which a team of players discover clues, solve puzzles, and accomplish tasks in a specific location and with a specific goal in mind and time. But there's some differences to that. They can be live, virtual, digital, or printed. So basically what we did at the 2019 meeting were printed escape rooms. Everything was printed out and we worked it. It was also a live escape room because we interacted physically with each other. The virtual and digital are on the computer and they can be in various formats. Google Forms, Google Slides, PowerPoint, Flash, or on specific websites.
Sure.
There's some specific websites like Breakout EDU, and that's a subscription site that's listed in the resource list that you can download from the session page. There's also a pile of escape rooms that you can do. They're free. There are some that do cost money. Breakout EDU is a subscription service. So there is a variety out there available. Not all escape rooms have time limits. You can, especially online, virtual ones may be limited by time, but a lot of them are based upon your own pace. The rooms that you may go to in downtown West Palm or Boca or wherever, those you usually have about 60 minutes to complete. Not all escape rooms are for everyone. Escape rooms come out for people with different interests. So for somebody that might find hunting aliens in Area 51, might not be interested in something about Alice in Wonderland. Some may be too graphic or have subject matter not appropriate to certain ages or abilities. And that's where part of your job comes into. You need to explore the escape rooms that are out there to make sure they're appropriate for your youth. Some may require physical activity. And as we're talking about equity, we want to make sure our youth are successful. So some physical ones may not be appropriate for youth who struggle with certain movement, certain gross motor skills, or that require physical activity on a super hot day that you're going to do it outside, or that it's in too small of an area. Some of the physical activity that they may not be able to do could be putting a key into a lock, which would be a fine motor skill, dodging laser lights, or jumping repeatedly, having to pull something up from a rope or through a maze or something like that. So those are all things you need to consider when you're either creating a live room or if you're going to use a virtual room. And one nice thing is escape rooms for use in our programs can be adjusted to fit the needs of those who play them. That means when you're exploring, you're going to want to make sure that your youth are going to be successful. If they're not successful, are they going to want to participate?
Oh.
Okay. Oops. All right. So there's something here to ponder. Do I have anybody that would like to read the screen? Okay. Harry Potter wandered through Minecraft Town. He spotted the lake and wondered if it had mermaids. They had to be much more attractive than the merpeople of Black Lake. Hearing the roar of a lion, he turned to look. It was Aslan, who he had met while visiting Lucy Pevensey. He remembered the Sphinx from the maze and wondered if Cinderella could have answered the question. Harry smiled as he realized that his war was over and now he could go to the movies to see Star Wars. Wasn't Baby Yoda just the cutest, he thought? He paused as an alert came onto his smartwatch that an asteroid was on track to hit the space station. Then he remembered he needed to study for his Muggle history class. He was struggling. Suddenly, the teachers decided seventh years needed to learn about the American Revolution and their Civil War. He wasn't sure why. Maybe there's some tie-in to the wars and those strange superheroes, the Avengers. He looked over at the next corner and saw a Girl Scout selling cookies. He definitely needed a snack before study time. Whoops. So, these are just some of the escape rooms that were in the ponder. Were any of these that might have triggered your own use interest?
Minecraft.
Mermaids,
Mermaids, Minecraft,
Avengers,
Girl
Star
Scout
Wars.
cookies,
Girl Scout cookies.
Star Wars, Avengers, yes.
all of them.
So these are just,
Star Wars, a lot of them.
so these are just 13 that I found very quickly out online of different escape rooms. Basically, all of these use the Google form format, and they can be done in small groups or for individuals. So, escape rooms are fun, challenging, adaptable. They're adaptable in that you can control and change the time, the length, the difficulty levels, and specific puzzles and actions. So just because it was about Harry Potter, there were 7 books in the Harry Potter series, and there were 8 movies. Right there is enough fodder for at least 20 different escape rooms. Actually, many, many more. It all depends upon what your focus is. The Cinderella, how many people know the story of Cinderella? So you could create the goal of being Cinderella and making sure the prince meets you, or where did the wicked stepsisters hide the glass slippers? So that can be a wide variety of activities that can be done in there. 4, they're filled with interesting ideas, facts, trivia, and puzzles. You're able to be completed by individuals, small groups, friends, and families. We're going to be doing a parent night this coming up in June, and we're hoping to actually do an escape room for our parents to share with our students. They could be broken down into easier pieces for those struggling, or increase in difficulty for those who desire or need more of a challenge. So if you took, say, Cinderella, and you wanted to make it harder, you can increase the type of puzzles. You could increase the number of puzzles. You could add a timer to it so that they have to solve it within a specific period of time. You can add a physical activity to it. So say you were doing a virtual, but you wanted to go and have them get some exercise in. You could have them do jumping jacks or whatever to complete the room and have them accountable for it.
What does it need?
Okay. 7, they're able to incorporate different learning styles.
How long you took?
I'm sorry?
How long did you take?
How long does it take?
Frank, you're not on mute.
Sorry.
That's okay. So you can incorporate different learning styles. And there's 7 main learning styles. There's auditory, which is sound or music. You can incorporate a YouTube music video into it and have them observe it and possibly repeat a musical pattern to it. They could use spatial, which is visual. So great observation activities. How many of you have heard of the gorilla in the basketball game? Observation test. It's where 2 teams are passing the basketball back and forth, and you're told to count how many times the team wearing black passes basketball. And right through the middle of it, a gorilla walks. At the end, you're trying to figure out how many times it was passed and did you actually see the gorilla or not? So there's different activities within an escape room that can be used for visual activity and visual learning. Verbal, which is your linguistic, reading skills. The Google Slides are great for that, brief reading passages. When I do my escape rooms with my youth, I encourage them to read the passages. So I'm not reading it, they need to read it. For some, they're very shy and that's okay. I don't tell you have to do it. For some of them, they may not be really good readers, but they love to share what they can read. So for them to get up and read the passages, they love it. Kinesthetic, that was the physical, jumping jacks, push-ups, you know, the dancing around, things like that. Logical and mathematical. Logic problems are great within escape rooms. Riddles can be logical, they sometimes aren't. Then you have social, which is interpersonal. They're learning through communicating with each other. And some for solitary, intrapersonal. That's their learning style. So they may prefer to do escape rooms on their own without partners. So that makes them even more reaching where they are.
Pat, you have a question in the chat.
Sure.
Someone wants to know if you know if the resources that are being provided here, are they district approved, and will the kids' district computers allow them to access the websites?
Yes. Generally, there are several that are put up by different libraries, public libraries create them. The Harry Potter was done by, I want to say, a library in Cincinnati, a public library. They are, and I try to make sure that I've actually been able to access them through the district in order to play them. That's why I actually put a lot of the direct links into those resources instead of a website. Does that help? Okay, number 8, live escape rooms can incorporate not just fine motor skills, but your gross motor skills, like we were talking about, being able to walk, dance, move, and the fine motor skills, keys into a lock, writing. So as you are working with your youth, if you have youth with disabilities, you're going to, again, as you either design or you search, you're going to want to make sure that your youth are going to be successful. That it will be challenging, but not that it leads to frustration. They can require or not require prior knowledge. A lot of Harry Potter or Cinderella, you've got prior knowledge, even if it's not reading. For like Cinderella, it's a story you've heard for years and years. It could also include science and math skills, books, art, music, recognizing different types of music, recognizing art styles, things like that. So it can require prior knowledge or not. And again, that depends upon the youth you're working with. They can be created by the youth you work with, not just solved by them. This is a great tool to use as a chance for your youth to mentor, to feel like they belong in a program, and to get them to think out of the box and build some of the critical thinking skills they're going to need in the future. If you have youth that like to write or solve puzzles or work on the computer, team them up and they can create some of the most amazing escape rooms out there. Several of the ones in the resource are youth created. And they can help to develop and improve life skills such as logical and critical thinking, teamwork, leadership. All those things are important as they get older. Any questions?
Pat, your camera is off.
My camera's off. Okay, hang on one second. Am I back again?
Perfect.
Okay, that's crazy. All right. Okay, so any questions so far, guys? I know it's a lot of material. The two resources that I put in the room are, one is with a pile of places to go with games, along with a couple YouTube videos on how to create. So those are teacher-friendly, youth-friendly YouTube videos for creating them, so that it's something you can share with your youth if they're interested on the step-by-step process. Okay. And then the others, like I said, there's some youth created escape rooms there as well. Okay. And all right. So these are just some of the subjects that I've found out there. Escape rooms on books, history, famous people, famous places, science, movies and TV. You can even use it for your own program. I was asked to do one for prime time back earlier in the year. And what we did was the escape room contained basically a large portion of the staff from prime time were incorporated in the questions and activities. So this would be a great way to introduce your youth to your staff. Let them see what your staff's interests are. They could do questions and answers for that. So there's a wide range of ways to use it for your program specific and things to support what your youth are learning in school or in their communities. If, you know, there may be community outreach programs or community current events that you can incorporate into it. So there's a wide range of things that you can use for your escape rooms. Okay. Another cool one is culture. You can use a whole bunch of activities about culture, music, language, art, geography, food. If you're learning about other countries, if you're learning about the local communities, it's a great way without the kids, your youth really realizing they're learning anything. Whenever you can make it a game, they're going to have the buy-in. Okay, so how do we use them in OST? They can be used at any time. They're great for short periods of time between larger activities. You know, if you have that half-hour time period, especially during summer camp time, where you want some downtime, but still something to keep them entertained or occupied. They're great for that time period. They can be an introduction to a theme or a subject, or as a fun post test to see what they remember. So I know, Frank, you're working with Spanish, your youth learning some Spanish words in Spanish language. It would be a great activity to do an escape room that they have to practice what they've learned. They can be used in small groups or individuals, and it does not require an OST practitioner to lead it. Your youth can lead the activity. And in some cases, they've created it and they can lead it. They can be geared to current themes or activities in the OST program. For example, this year we had different themes throughout the year, and one of our themes was dinosaurs. So I created an escape room . Can you see the Science 101?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So some simple clip art that's out there. Little background story.
Two American scientists are lost in the swirling maze of past and future ages during the first experiments on a
So that's just a quick example of using YouTube videos, clip art, and tying in what they've learned. So they learned a little bit about the different types of dinosaurs at different eras, and they had to answer questions about those. Then there's Harry Potter, Alice in Wonderland, the American Revolution, famous people. And then this is a science fest, which is actually an outside one put together by Indiana State University. And this one is a Google Forms escape room. So you can see the two different types. I've not really used Google Forms except when I've shared others. I create them in Google Slides. It allows me a little bit more leeway with certain things, and I'm always in the room with my youth. I'm there to answer questions. I'm there to do the presentation. But again, my youth are the ones doing the readings and doing the discussions. I may ask some clarifying questions, some open-ended questions. How did you come up with that idea? How did you use that information to solve the question, things like that. If you're using prior knowledge, make sure the information is covered prior to the game, especially if you're doing literacy or book-based or math. You don't want them to go in again and feel like they're going to be frustrated and not able to complete it. If you're focusing on specific skills, review those skills ahead of time to make sure that they will be successful. So if one of your activities is really based on observation, then you're going to want to make sure that they understand what observation is. And as a project for youth to create, to share with others. And it's a great way to review program information or rules. So any questions so far? Anything that you would like to share and that you've used escape rooms? No? Okay.
Are you aware of any set escape rooms? If we were to go to the Google, you said it's all done in Google form and Google format.
Yes, there's a resource page in the presentation section there on Whova.
Wonderful.
You can just download that and there's a whole bunch of links.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I think this is great.
There's so many out there, and there's one Girl Scout troop that was having their cadet Girl Scouts were creating them, and they've been sharing them online. So cadet, I believe, is like 11 to 13. So middle school age youth are creating their own, and they're just using things that are interesting to them. And that's actually, it was a youth made one for the Girl Scout cookies. There is actually 2 escape rooms out there on Girl Scout cookies. There's 2
That is
different
very cool.
breeds.
We have questions on Whova. Larissa Flores asked, can we visit to observe how you do an escape room with youth?
Can you observe how we run one?
Yes.
I did one yesterday. I don't have any recorded, but if you are interested and you're school-based, I can actually invite you. We run them through Classroom. So I do a classroom meet with my program youth, and some we do, like my kindergarten and first graders joined as a whole group, and I had third graders that had their own laptops set up and were participating. So I would be glad to invite any of you that would like to come watch them. So just share. I'm trying to think. Catherine, do you know if the Whova questions and all are going to be there after the symposium?
They will be, and if you'd like, Pat, you can we can drop your email in the chat as well if you're okay with folks contacting you that way.
Sure. I hadn't thought about wrong computer. I'm working off 2 different computers here, guys. Sorry. Also, you'll see in there's a escape rooms and OST on Facebook. It's a new page that I've created that is there to ask questions, to share, and you are all more than welcome to join in. It's an open page.
There is one more question on Whova, and it's saying, are all these web links for escape rooms easy to access via school internet laptops?
Well, yeah, the kids use their laptops, so they're able to, well, we do those in the classroom, but I do often do them on a laptop. I tend to share my screen on my big computer, on my desktop, but I'm interacting with the kids on the laptop. So they are accessible through the school district. And I won't put anything out there that I haven't vetted already, because there's just too many other things out there. But you want to make sure that the kids are being into programs and activities that are age appropriate at all times. So I vet them. And that's another reason with the Facebook will be able to ask questions and have direct links there that will also be vetted before they're able to be posted on there. Okay.
Hey, Pat, I had a quick comment.
Okay.
Last summer when COVID was, when summer camp was being offered online virtually through Primetime, you had also done some different sessions for us. And I just remember everybody knew there was going to be an escape room when they came into the session to observe. But like you said, you went over the content of what the escape room was about prior. So my daughter, for example, participated, and I think one of them was on the Mayans. And I just remember how excited she was learning the information because she was going to have to do something with it immediately for the escape room. So I'm mentioning that just because I know sometimes whenever we're doing different, we're giving kids information or going over different types of things, whether it's history or literature, if they have to do something with it right away, it enhances your awareness and you learn it faster. So I just thought it was a great connection, like using the escape room platform, having a plan in place to have something where they had to escape, but it boosted the information you were giving them prior, and it was awesome. So just, I would say, keep that in mind, everyone. If you think about, hey, we want to build some escape rooms, where also is there some information that your school does? Maybe you're a STEM school, or maybe you're really big on literature or comprehension or whatever. So put both of those together and maybe it'll boost things.
Absolutely. And they're here to have fun, but they're also here for them to learn things. And they learn whether they realize it or not. And I'm a firm believer, if they learn one thing in any activity, training, or workshop they go to, you've met the goal. So if they retain one piece of information from that escape room, that's great. Even if it's just how to talk to somebody or explain something, because our kids, our youth are so much on the internet that social skills are falling to the side. Okay, so let's finish up here. And just, all right, so we have just a brief list of benefits of using escape rooms in OST. They provide an interactive platform for learning. Again, they can use various skills, able to interact with others and build social skills, problem-solving skills, teamwork, communication, technology skills. And interactive platform is not just online. We hear interactive platforms so much. Interactive platforms are live activities as well. Wherever 2 or more people are working together, it's an interactive platform. 2, they meet youth where they are, their location, their abilities, their interests, their knowledge. Just seeing all the variety of types of games and all of the variety of possibilities, you can do so much. I just talked with our IND unit teacher, and she and I, hopefully over the next couple weeks, are gonna see what we can work out to do with some of her students in IND in the way of an escape room. They reinforce knowledge and skills. They allow youth an opportunity to become a leader. One thing I did discover, the first escape room that I created for summer camp, one of my quietest students became the leader. He sat back at first and he looked around, and then he started solving things and saying, why don't we try this? Let's do this. And it was just amazing to see him come out of his shell. They provide opportunities for teamwork. They provide a feeling of accomplishment via successful completion of individual puzzles in the escape from the room. They provide opportunities to have older youth be mentors to younger ones. If you have a program that has middle schoolers, have them create them and then work with second, third, fourth graders on completing them. They provide opportunities for youth to create a challenge for their friends and program mates or their parents. And they provide opportunities, success, and support where youth need them. One of my biggest jobs when I'm in an escape room with my students is I'm their cheerleader. I'm encouraging them through what they're doing. If I see them heading along the wrong path, sometimes I'll let them take that wrong path and get that, uh-oh, wrong way, dragon's gonna eat you. Or other times I'll say, well, why don't we take a look at this? Let's work this out a little bit more. And then whenever they get through a room, hey, you got through there, let's go to the next one. So you always have to be cheerleaders for your youth. So a brief review, escape rooms can provide opportunities to meet youth where they are, interests, backgrounds, skills, and learning styles. They can be as easy or as difficult as needed to challenge but not frustrate youth. Remember, we want them challenged, we want them having fun, we want them to learn, but we don't want them to get frustrated. I know how I am when I'm frustrated. I tend to say, hey, I'm gonna leave this now, I gotta walk away, and I may not ever go back to it. And we don't want that. Escape rooms allow youth to take the lead and to build skills in leadership and teamwork. Even though you're the adult and you're the practitioner, take a back seat once in a while. Let your youth lead the way. And escape rooms allow youth to be creative, share their knowledge and their interest with others. So the Facebook page is Escape Rooms and OST. Please join us. Thank you.